go live to Sydney now. Peter Switzer, the founder of the Switzer Report, joins us live as he does every Friday. Peter Switzer, good to see you. First of all, I just want to check in on what the market's been doing. 40 minutes to Wall Street closes, the coronavirus ongoing. We now have Treasury officially looking at what the economic impact here will be. How much of a concern is it becoming for Australia and globally?
I think Australia and globally, the implications are potentially very serious. You know, we've done okay during the trade war because of our close link to China. And Laura, you know, the third most important export behind coal and iron ore is tourism and education, the travel aspects of that. And so, you know, it is quite surprising that our market remains rather resilient, and I think we're getting the lead in from Wall Street, where the Americans seem very comfortable with the coronavirus, which kind of surprises me. I got the numbers this morning. SARS, the S&P 500 index, was down 13%. For the Ebola virus, which wasn't as serious as SARS, it was down 6%. But so far, with the coronavirus, the S&P 500 is actually up. So I hope their insights are very good. But, you know, the question mark has to be put on the optimism coming out of Wall Street, given the fact that the bond market is much more negative, and many people believe that the bond market is a much better predictor of the future than the stock market, because there are a hell of a lot of supreme optimists, much like myself in there. But I think the next week's going to be critically important for the stock market, and if the Americans are right and the coronavirus is under control, we saw the numbers actually spiked yesterday, and that's part of the reason why the market was negative overnight. But if that happens and the market is really negative, there's a bit of a meltdown next week, then I think the implications for the Australian economy and the global economy will be far more serious. At this stage, fingers crossed.
Okay. We always have our fingers crossed, but let's look closer to home now. This big merger yesterday was given the go-ahead. TPG and Vodafone now entering the market. The ACCC didn't want to see this happen. It argued less competition, but did the ACCC perhaps get it wrong here?
Well, the courts think they did get it wrong, and they were pretty aggressive in the way that they hit the ACCC's position to the boundary, and a lot of the lawyers were very happy with what the court decided. The bottom line is this: it kind of makes sense that 4 competitors should be better than 3, and after this, Vodafone and TPG will come together. So you effectively have 3 big competitors, you know, with Optus, Telstra, and the TPG Vodafone merger. But the important thing is the future, namely 5G. And just imagine in the future if only Optus and Telstra have got 5G and Telstra and Vodafone don't. It suggests that there would be a lot easier in a duopoly, like 2 big players in 5G, for the 5G thing to be completely exploited. So I think the courts got it right. The stock market did as well. Telstra's share price was down 1.5%. Now that means that the analysts are saying, oh, it's not that serious for Telstra, but TPG's share price went up 11%, which means it's going to be good for TPG. I think in the long run, the decision is going to be proved to be right. Do
you think in the long run we're going to see better internet for us as consumers?
Oh, yeah. Without doubt, 5G is going to be miles better than what we've currently got. I actually interviewed one of the former CEOs of one of the telcos. I won't name the telco because you work out the CEO is. But he said to me, when 4G came in, we kept saying how great it was going to be. He said, but we didn't know exactly how great it was going to be because you can't actually work out all the positive implications. All we would say is it's going to have a great impact on our bottom lines. And he's, you know, now he's retired. He said this 5G will have the same kind of surprising implications. And I think one of them will be faster downloads. And let's face it, those changes in the past explain why we can turn on TV and watch Netflix streamed straight out of America and stuff like that. Those kind of changes are going to be seriously coming down the pipe when 5G comes in.
They certainly are. Well, Peter Switzer, we have